Do you want to know what age to start disciplining children? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about when is too young to discipline those children. In this video, we're going to talk about mistakes that parents make when anticipating discipline for their children. We're going to talk about what age to start disciplining your children, and we are going to talk about how is the best way to do it. So first off, let's talk about some of the common mistakes that parents make when anticipating when to discipline their children. Mistake number one is thinking that a child has to be able to communicate on the same level as the parents before the child is able to understand the discipline or teaching from the parents. That's absolutely false. Children understand way more language. They can interpret everything that's going on around them long before they can ever form a complete sentence. So you absolutely can start teaching cause and effect, help teach proper decision making and proper behavior. You can teach boundaries. There's all kinds of things that you can teach before a child can even say a complete sentence. You can even teach self-regulation. So what's one of the other mistakes that parents make with their young children is thinking, well, they're going to have to grow out of this. There's nothing I can do about it. Or maybe here's another one. Well, they don't know that they can't climb the whole bookshelf, or they don't know that they shouldn't run in the road. So I can't get angry with them about it, or I can't discipline them for it. Okay, but that doesn't mean you can't teach it, and they don't have to acknowledge in a way that you know that for sure they've got it either for that teaching to occur. When I was a young mom, I actually started teaching self-government skills to my children when they were teeny tiny, when I was changing their diapers and I was helping them to learn the language that they would speak, their mother tongue, and I would talk about we're going to put on your right shoe now. Okay. We're going to put on your left shoe now. Okay. Mom's going to tie a little bow on your shoe to keep it on your foot. Okay. What am I teaching in this type of conversation? I'm teaching the word okay. That's a really important word. They need to be able to say okay to their mom or dad when they're getting instructions or no answers. They need to learn to be okay. So when I'm saying okay, I'm telling them you're okay. You're okay. And then when I'm telling them the process of things, I'm also showing them there's a process to different things that we do. There's one step, and then there's another step, and then there's another step. As I'm explaining every single action that I'm doing for that child, with that child, when they're just a tiny baby, and they can only say goo goo and gaga and dada, and they don't even exactly know what those things even mean yet. So we can start teaching them very young. Now, their prefrontal cortex is when their babies are very small. We don't fully develop our prefrontal cortex, which is the logical center of the brain, the part of the brain where we do all of our problem solving. We don't develop that until we're often in our mid-20s. So you can see at the young ages, baby, toddler, they have a hard time learning and retaining stuff and hooking it to other pieces of information. So you might tell them, no, you can't draw on the wall, but they might not understand, no, you can't draw on the chair. So they might go draw on the chair because you said you can't draw on the wall. When you would think logically, if you can't draw on the wall, then of course you can't draw on the chair. We don't draw on anything unless mommy says this is to be drawn on. But they don't hook those dots together. They can't. It's their little brain. So we have to do tons and tons of pre-teaching. But this time of pre-teaching is the time where we lay the foundation for the discipline that will help them be more happy, successful problem solvers, better communicators in their lives to come. So what are the things that we teach them and when? Okay, well, let's talk about the when first. So you can start very early on. My daughter started teaching her daughter self-regulation, started teaching her to take deep breaths and to be calm when she was about 4 months old. So she definitely did better than I did. And she now has 3 children, a set of twins and another little 4-year-old. They all know how to take deep breaths when mama prompts them to take deep breaths. The set of twins is only a year and a half old. They know how to look at mom. They know what calmness is and what it's not. They know when they're using a voice tone that mom says is not a calm voice tone. They know how to change it. They know how to self-regulate. When you tell them it's going to be okay, they go, and they start taking deep breaths. They can do amazing things. In fact, there's some videos about this on my channel, so you can find a video about a baby self-regulating and taking deep breaths, a baby learning to disagree appropriately. And you can hear it's not all of the exact words, but they learn the concept and their mama taught them how to do it, my daughter. You can see my granddaughter when she was 2 years old going into a store, my daughter videotaping her. She told her ahead of time, pre-taught her, we need to keep our hands in our pockets the whole time. We can't touch anything. And you see my little granddaughter with her hands in their pockets, looking at all the things in this fancy little store, but not touching any of it. And then her mother praising her afterward for it. So she was like 2 years old, but she could learn my hands are going to go in the pockets the whole time I'm in this store and they're going to stay there and I'm not going to let them out. And you even saw it a couple of times, her thinking of taking it out and then putting it back in because she remembered the instruction. And she remembered that it's a no answer, that there's boundaries in this store, that we can't touch things. She learned all of those things. So all of those pre-teaching mechanisms should start happening very, very early. As soon as your child starts to breathe and recognize you're breathing too, then start working on the breathing. Calm, deep breaths, and then start working on the 4 basic skills. So what are the 4 basic skills? So I've written 11 books, 7 of them for children. These 4 books teach the 4 basic skills to children. These 4 basic skills take care of 99% of behavioral problems. I have another set of children's books that's just coming out. It's called The Calm Crew, and it's all about self-regulation and calmness. So you'll definitely want to look at those. But this book here teaches the first of the 4 basic skills, which is following instructions. Then this book teaches accepting no answers and criticism. This one teaches accepting consequences. This one teaches disagreeing appropriately. So start by teaching these skills. Now, when you learn following instructions, which is the basic of all the basic skills, then the word that the child has to be able to say is okay. So start teaching them to say okay by saying okay to them a lot. Okay, mama's going to set the table. Okay, you can come help mama. Okay, choose to say the word okay with them a lot so that then they'll start saying okay back to you, because before they know what the word really is or the sounds they're making, they use the cadence of your voice like a song to sing it back to you. Teach them the word okay as soon as you can so you can start teaching these skills. Once they know these skills, and they don't even have to be able to recite them back to you, you just teach the concepts and practice them maybe with a teddy bear, with mom and dad role playing in front of them. Then you can start doing accepting consequences. So what type of consequences should young children accept? When it comes to consequences, I have a formula for that. I also have a skill for how to correct the children when they aren't using their 4 basic skills. Let's say they're not keeping a calm face, voice, and body. They need to be corrected and get the opportunity to earn a negative consequence. I want to tell you what that negative consequence is. I want to give you the steps for an effective correction, and I'm going to do it in my next video called How to Discipline a Child. Click on that link next. I'll see you there.